everybody. I'm really excited to bring to you today the Aquarius full moon tarot reading. There's so much I want to cover, and yet there's also a lot that feels indescribable because of how large it is. The energy has been really, really intense for me and for those that I've been talking to about this Lionsgate. So the Lionsgate portal is technically ending on the 12th, I believe. And so we have that coming up right before, or excuse me, within the full moon of Aquarius. And so there's a lot of fire and water / air energy working in conjunction with each other. Queen of Swords just dropped. So that's a really powerful card. It's authority, it's discerning. There's our reflection of how we deal with, I think, judgment, and there's a level of discernment with the Queen of Swords that really is about deciding who's worthy. We're all inherently worthy. We're born worthy. We always have been worthy, and we always will be worthy. But worthy in terms of delegating, is this person worthy of my time? Is this energy being utilized in this project? Or okay. Okay, so we have Judgment, and we also have King of Wands. Yeah, there's a lot of power with all three of these cards here. I'm kind of drawing a blank, so I'm going to read from the pamphlet on the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is a fierce and exacting force. Turandot does not forget betrayal, so her judgments, while fair and principled, seem brutal and cold. Still, she is open-minded and intelligent and can be charming and witty when she chooses. So this is about protection, meaningful criticism, tough loves, skepticism, and intelligence. So there's a lot to do with discernment here, and a lot to do with creating a space in which one is less likely to be taken advantage of. It's very much standing your ground and holding others accountable as well as yourself. Queen of Swords. I also want to say about that it regards to our mind. So yeah, I think with the portal and with the full moon, there's been a great reckoning about how we relate to our own minds, as well as how our minds are being used to create the conditions that will protect what we wish to preserve and take care of and nurture, while also keeping out what we don't want and what is dangerous or draining for us or toxic to us. So we're being called to really take care of and do personal hygiene with our minds right now, and this is the feminine aspect of that. So there is a kind of there's a fierceness, and there's also a holistic embracing of the duality that comes through considering both sides. And so making a decision that might be perhaps triggering to the other person, but ultimately is serving both of you because you're staying true to your highest self and following your purpose and values and morals. Taking care of that is really imperative right now, because if you're doing energy work, or if you're a creative, or just any human being who's perhaps more sensitive, then you will need to be taking care of yourself, because you can't be available to everybody all the time. It's the message. You can't just let anybody into your circle. You are really creating a safe space for yourself to nurture your purpose and keeping that sacred and cleansed of any toxic or unwanted energy. So then we had Judgment. So because of the Queen of Swords, it's telling me that there's been a huge reckoning in ourselves, and this has to do with even more about worthiness. Judgment is usually, in traditional tarot, it's the card of Judgment Day from the Bible. So if you think of that in terms of what that brings up in us, it brings up a lot of guilt, it brings up a lot of shame. So there's this perception of a God outside of us condemning us, or looking at our life karma and choices and thoughts and actions and attaching some kind of punishment or consequence for that. So the Judgment card really speaks to me about how our minds can try to emanate God, or be this condescending, punishing, negative force that controls or belittles or critics us or is bullying us. And we think that serves us to be our best selves, but it's actually holding us back from obtaining true freedom, power, and accountability. So remember that with the Queen of Swords, her intelligence, her wisdom, and her justice isn't about just punishing people on a whim or on impulse, or just because she feels like it. It's she's just handing their own karma back to them. So people who believe that there is a God punishing and judging them will make choices that carry an energy of punishment and condemnation and self-criticism. So if you're on a path of enlightenment, or if you're just on a path of self-improvement, or a path of healing and inner work, then you're aware that we have collectively been imbued with a false narrative, a major lie about how to use our intellect in terms of we need to punish ourselves to be better, and this just isn't the case. It would be a self-fulfilling prophecy if you eventually believed that to be true, but that is something, it's a lie, so there has to be a lot of force energy to keep that lie going. But the genuine truth of who we are doesn't need to be forced upon us. So loving yourself and nurturing yourself and changing your relationship to your thoughts and providing yourself space for more positive thoughts to take the rein on your decisions and to navigate how you look at yourself and the world around you is going to be the major shift of this Lionsgate, because we're learning that a lot of our wisdom and a lot of our self-improvement comes from our heart space. It doesn't come from thinking our way into a better version of ourselves. It's a holistic approach. You're going to need every aspect of you engaged on this journey to embody the kind of qualities that you so admire in others. So It's a really intense reading. We have the King of Wands. May I just say this is the Phoenix rising, so the message here is really potent. You're releasing, and there's a death to the old self, a death to the toxically programmed residual beliefs and patternings of how our brain was originally taught to be, based on our upbringing, based on our culture, based on what we were exposed to growing up in our most vulnerable stages of development. So just because it happened first doesn't mean it has to continually be the driving force of your future. You can change your future and rewire your brain and rewire those patterns to fit who you want to become and to be your best self without hurting yourself anymore, without beating yourself up. So the King of Wands here is really about taking charge of the potentiality of your mind, of using your mind as a tool or medium of amplifying what you want more of. And this is going to be a catalytic shift for everybody, and whoever is watching my videos, this is one of the most powerful alchemizing journeys we can go on. I want to read a little bit more about the King of Wands. So yeah, the Phoenix, the King of Wands is a symbol of strength. So there's that strength. The strength card in the tarot is actually Leo, so we already have some secondary Leo symbolism with the having previously had the Leo new moon, being in Leo season right now. The King of Wands is a symbol of strength. The legend of the Phoenix spans many cultures, but in all of them, the Firebird represents stability, rebirth, strength, and loyalty. So there's honesty, passion, leadership, charm, and flexibility. So there's definitely a shift from this old paradigm of really strong about karma and self-criticism and judgment, and going into, we're literally having this meta experience of we're judging judgment, and we're wondering, is this actually serving me? Is this judgment is this fueling who I'm becoming? Is this really the way that is optimal for my brain to assess the world around me? Is there a more grander, more nuanced, more layered, more ever-evolving healing perspective that I can see the world through? Is judgment narrowing my lens and keeping me from my highest potential? And the answer to that is yes, and you're going to release that, and you're going to embrace the passion and the creativity and the love and the loyalty and strength of the Phoenix, and you're going to rise from the ashes and embrace this new you that's coming out of this portal. I love this. Happy Aquarius full moon, everybody. I love you.